Okay, now we are on to our post-play series. Our post-play series, we're going to do offense and defense. So first we're going to cover the basics like positioning, both with your body and with your hands, but also different spots on the floor. And then we will get into some specific moves and drills and things like that. So the first thing that post players need to think about is creating position or creating scoring opportunities before the catch. A lot of post players, wherever they are on the floor, whether it could be the elbow, it could be the low block, they just kind of stand there and they're not seeking contact, they're not trying to get open. But a good post player is always kind of thinking, how can I either create position or how can I create position for a teammate to score the basketball? So you've always got to be thinking, what can I do to help my team get position, whether for me or somebody else? So the positions on the floor that we'll go over, and I'll hold the ball here, Jake. The first one is the dunker spot. So the dunker spot is on the baseline. Your heels are as close to the baseline as possible, and you are squared up to the basket. This is normally out of a dribble drive offense, and the idea behind the dunker spot is if I'm the defender on this player and I'm all the way back here defending them, well, that's good because now you have all this space in the paint open for your teammates to drive. On the other hand, if I'm the defender and I stay up here, well, now he's able to play behind me and also create rebounding position. So the first spot, of course, all these spots could be on either side of the floor, but that's the dunker spot. Now let's just go low block. So the other one is the low block. So that's right here on the block on the floor. You want to get good position, show your hands, all that stuff that we'll talk about in a second. So you got low block. You also have high block or high post. So that could be somewhere in this area right here. Yep, it could be high block, and then it could be all the way up to the elbow. A lot of players, post players, they play through the elbow where they'll have the ball passed to them right here, and then an offensive player may cut off either way off of the elbow. That could be out of chin offense, a bunch of other stuff playing out of the high post. All right, short corner is another one. This isn't dunker spot. Dunker spot is back to the baseline. Short corner is you're kind of squared up to the basket. So you're still going to be in that area, but you'll even be kind of higher. Dunker spot is you're close to the baseline as possible, but short corner is more, you're kind of just right inside the three-point line. So you got to be able to play from that spot. We talked about the elbow. Now the nail, which is right in the middle of the foul line, this is a spot to play from as well. You could receive a pass from the perimeter and then face up. You may even post up kind of in this area right here. But receiving the ball and being able to pass out of the nail or foul line area is somewhere you got to play from. The other place that you got to play from is the top of the key, because in transition, and we'll talk more about this, a lot of times point guards will get ahead of the ball, they'll get into the paint, and then the post player is the one who passed it in out of bounds from there, so they'll flip it back and then they'll play from the top of the key. And then the other one, and we won't show right now, but the other one is being able to play out of ball screens, and we will talk more about that. So those are the different positions you want to be able to really master out of being a post player. Now, if you can play off the perimeter and do certain dribble moves, that's great, but those are just the basic positions that you need to cover. So we're going to talk about creating position now, and Jake, just go to the low block. So all these points could be from any of the positions that we just talked about, but we're going to talk about creating position to get open. So the key of getting open is you want to have a wide base, and slide up just a little bit. So the key is you want to have a wide base. You don't want your feet here. You want to have your feet as wide as possible. You want to be squared up to the passer, and you also want to show your hands to the passer. So if I'm going to feed the post right here, Jake's in a good wide position. He'd be using his backside, his butt, to get into the defender. He's showing his hands. And then as the ball is fed, he's going to catch it and keep the ball tight to his body. So you've always got to have your hands ready. This could be in the post like this, having your hands ready, but it could also be off of a ball screen. So let's just say, let's go to this side. So let's say you're going to start at the elbow and you're going to come up here, set a ball screen. So if Jake even comes up here and sets a ball screen and he rolls, the same principles apply of having your hands ready, knowing how to use your body to seal the defense off, and all that sort of stuff. When you are receiving the pass in the post, and this is almost for any other position, what you don't want to do is retreat away from the pass, because then it's going to result in a steal. So this is what a retreat would look like. Jake's on offense, Taha, you're on defense. So as I'm feeding the post, if the offensive player retreats and goes backwards, what often happens is the defense steals the ball. So you don't want to retreat. Instead, you want to, one, seal off your defender, keep your defender on the back, and then you also want to meet the pass. So let's give a good example there. Yep, so you're sealing the defender, and then you step out to meet the pass. And then from there, you can face up, back down, do whatever you want. All right, now we're going to look at specific moves of creating position. So the first one we're going to look at is a swim move. So the keys here are, you don't want to push off, but you want to use one hand to kind of push the defender, but not without fouling. And then the other hand is going to swim above the defender to create position. So you'll just catch it and hold your position right here. Okay? Yep, so arm goes up, then you're now getting in front of the player. Yep, and we won't score, you can kick it back out. Okay, now we're going to go with a duck in across. So I'll have the ball up top. Jake, you're going to start right there. Taha, you're going to be in help. I'm just going to dribble over, and this could be off of a ball reversal or it could be off of a dribble, but the offensive post player is going to create position and hit this defender before the defender is able to slide over. So let's do a duck in across right here. Ready, go. Yep, so he is seeking position, and then he's sealing the defender right there. Good. Now let's go duck in up. So that was a cross. Now we're going to go duck in up. So we're going to say, Taha, you can be like the defender about right here. Now we want to cross, the last one we want to cross the floor. Now we're going to go up the floor. So let's just say, Jake, you're kind of at the block here. Luke, you could even slide down a little bit there. So now instead of going across, you're going up on this dribble. So it's a duck in up. Once I dribble, you can go. Oh, yeah. Okay. So duck in up the lane. And Jake's take one more step back. Yeah, there we go. So duck in up. Here we go. Good. So we stepped up the lane that time instead of stepping across the lane. The next move is a high seal. So we're going to say that offense is right here, and then defense, you're going to be fully fronting the post. Yep. Yeah, so you'll be fully fronting. Yeah, there we go. So you're fully fronting. Now the high seal, the explanation behind it is if I am the passer here on the perimeter, what the post player wants to do is create as much room as possible on the backside to receive the pass. Because, let's say, y'all scoot down all the way right here. If the post player is being fronted and they are very low and close to the basket, what will happen is I'll throw it up and it'll hit the backboard. So what we want to do, and this is a high seal, what the post player wants to do against a front is walk this defender up without fouling. But the further up this post player can walk up the defender, now we're going to have more room on the backside to go catch the basketball. So let's just work on that, and then you can just hit a basic layup. So this is a high seal. Yep, walk them up, good. Then you got to create that space from the defender and go get it. Now this is kind of the opposite. This is going to be a bury. You're going to bury the defender. So instead of a front, it's going to be behind. So Taha, instead of fronting, you're behind. Now it's the exact opposite. From the defensive perspective, the defense wants to walk the offensive player out. From the offensive perspective, you want to walk the defender in as low as possible. So y'all start about right here. Because the offensive player, you're going to catch the ball to the rim as close as possible. So you're just going to bury him as deep to the rim as you can. Close to the rim as you can. There you go. Good. So depending on if the defender's in front of you, you want to create more space on the backside. If they are behind you, you want to bury that defender as close to the rim as possible. Now the next one we're going to talk about, creating position out of the post, is sealing your defender after a down screen. So what we're going to say is, I am Jake's defender. Okay. Taha, you're going to be the offensive cutter. So you're going to start about right here. And then Jake, you can just come right here. You're going to set a screen for Taha. So what we're saying is, I am guarding the screener. He is coming to set a down screen right here. So once this player goes off to the corner, now after this screen, the post player's job is to now turn, create sealing position against their own defender. So we won't have a ball, but let's just walk through that. Okay, so I'm guarding the screener, and the screener is going to screen and then seal their man. So down screen, yep, and then right there, create position. Because this is good because two defenders might slide out, or there might be a switch, and then after the screen, if you can seal a defender, that's going to be a good way to create position.